Good morning and welcome to KCPS Homeroom. I'm Justin Robinson. Today is real world learning. Let's get ready to learn.
Good morning. This is KCPS Homeroom, and I'm Erica Mabian for our real world learning experience. And this morning, I have Martha McCabe with KC STEM Alliance, and she's going to share some real world learning experiences with you. So Martha, can you tell me a little bit about KC STEM Alliance and your work with the districts?
Sure, absolutely. So the KC STEM Alliance was founded in 2011, and the role was to really connect all the many STEM education partners and workforce initiatives that are happening in our community. And we work with all of the school districts and as well as some charter schools and private schools to connect both leading in school STEM opportunities as well as out of school opportunities. And we're really fortunate. The Kaufman Foundation identified 2 best practice programs: Project Lead the Way, which happens predominantly in the in-school space, and then First Robotics in the out-of-school space. But what we understand now as part of this broader STEM learning ecosystem is that there are so many partners that are trying to work with our students here in Kansas City to help them maybe uncover a passion that they had, or maybe just have an opportunity to engage with STEM skills to help solve real-world problems and things that maybe will solve problems in our big, global world, but probably problems just right here in our own backyard. And that's what gets us and the team at the KC STEM Alliance really excited.
Well, I heard you say real world problem solving. So could you explain why it's important for those students to gain those STEM skills and how they connect to those real world learning and problem solving?
Sure. So, as we think about the skills that are needed to solve those real world problems, you need to understand math, and also, how do you put together a chart that the community can better understand, or a graphic that can help people better understand the problem? And so right now there's an opportunity for kids to do that engaged learning as early as preschool, and then be able to talk to one another about how they're solving their problems.
That's so important. And I love that the learning does not have to stop and start at school. So I know that there's families out there, they've been doing virtual learning from home and all the hybrids and all those different scenarios. And our parents have really stepped up and really become engaged. So I'm wondering if they're wanting to extend those experiences in the STEM world, how can families continue to be more engaged?
So, when the pandemic hit, we at the KC STEM Alliance had to think about, how are we going to reach students when it looks as if they're going to be home for a long time? So on the KC STEM Alliance website, we created a whole host of resources called STEM at Home. And it's an opportunity for parents to go in and find activities, maybe things that they can do on their own, but also maybe connect to other partners that are providing opportunities. And some of the partners are providing opportunities where you can actually be in person and still following all the COVID safe guidelines. But even just looking around your house and giving kids a set of just random items and ask them to build the tallest tower that they can put together. And kids have fun trying to figure that challenge out. But then what they really like is when it falls over, to redesign. And so it's that whole opportunity to build something. If it fails or falls over, you get to rebuild and rethink, maybe pull in a brother or a sister to help you out. So I think there's lots of ways that families at home can engage around STEM skills.
I know that as a classroom teacher that teaches STEM, I've really seen my students blossom. And in particular, I had the privilege of experiencing how girls really blossom and they learn differently within those spaces, and how I could really initiate some of those inklings and those curiosities within my girls and create an environment they could thrive. So could you tell us a little bit more of the interesting findings that KC STEM Alliance has revealed and developed within our ecosystem?
Sure. So, last summer, I think we all thought we were going to take a pause and then be back to work in the fall. And that didn't happen. Here we are in March and we're still, quote, pausing. And so we wanted to really identify what was happening with our girls in the city. And so last summer, we hosted a 5-part series, and thank you so much for your participation, on closing the gender gap in STEM. And we also, not surprisingly, talked to some girls, and we asked them about their experiences and their thoughts. And what they said was that as girls, we're social, so we want to do things together. So where are there opportunities, whether it's in the school day or in the out-of-school space, for girls to be together and to inquire and investigate together things that they're interested in? And then they also said you need to layer in a little bit of fun. And so we really look at programs that do bring that fun component. But we also know that the mentors that we bring into the classroom need to get hands-on and engaged right with them. And so we had a program that we were doing where the not only the girls, but also the mentors were building these fold scopes, which were paper microscopes. And the mentors had to read the instructions and figure it out right alongside with the girls. And I think when the girls watched the older women having some of the same struggles, they weren't as intimidated. Mm-hmm. And so they recognized that this is something that the girls and their mentors can do right alongside each other.
That is so incredible that we have that revelation and can have intentional situations that help girls thrive and discover who they really are. I'm also interested in knowing about other ways that students can follow their passions. I know we have after school programs and things that we have in our buildings and that students can, engage in and build on the things that they're learning in their classrooms from their PLTW experiences and, kind of build on that and thrive and really discover for themselves. Could you speak a little bit more about that?
Yes, so I think there are opportunities. So in the district itself, FIRST Robotics is really popular. And so we have opportunities for kids to be on FIRST Robotics teams as young as kindergarten. But, at the engineering zone, we have 2 Kansas City Public School District teams that are building the big high school robot called FIRST Robotics Competition. So they come to our engineering zone after school, they're there on Saturdays, and they have mentors coming in from different companies to help them build robots that are then able to compete and do challenges and score points. So lots of great opportunities to work with other partners.
So what I hear you saying is that essentially students can discover, learn, and enrich themselves starting at kindergarten with these STEM experiences and really figure out what they're good at and develop those things and even create a pathway of learning from middle school to high school. So they are really just engulfed in the things that really help them become critical thinkers, problem solving. Those soft skills are all developed and start to begin as early as preschool. And I know that you all work with in places like Operation Breakthrough and Link and Boys and Girls Clubs and our libraries. And so I think that really the students and families have a great opportunity within our Kansas City metropolitan area to just kind of really dive in and delve into all the things that are STEM. And I'm just really grateful to know that there are so many things out there. And I'm not sure that people knew that KC STEM Alliance was the best kept secret in Kansas City. They just need to go onto your website, look at your calendar. You have things that are posted there all the time. And I've just been really grateful as an educator to lean and depend on knowing that you had quality programming and opportunities for our students. So I'm really grateful for you being here and sharing all the things that KC STEM Alliance has to offer. And I look forward to seeing all the partnerships and all of the engagements that students and their families are able to participate with. So thank you so much for all of the things that you shared today. And I look forward to seeing you in our ecosystem, STEM and all things related to making kids become a better version of themselves.
Well, thank you, Erica. And we at the KC STEM Alliance are so happy and pleased to engage with Kansas City Public Schools, to know that during the school day, the students have the opportunities, whether they're starting in preschool or all the way up through high school, that there is this very deliberate pathway of courses and course offerings and experiences that kids can have during the school day. And when you can match that with opportunities in the after-school space, students have that many more opportunities to decide what they're curious and passionate about. So thank you for being a district that sees this as a priority for their students and providing those hands-on experiences.
Thank you so much. It's always grateful to have partners like you in our education ecosystem. And we appreciate you being a part of today's KCPS Homeroom, where we are focusing on real world learning. Have a great day.
You too. Bye, Erica.
Bye.
Hey, how you doing today? It's Chef Tom from the Cardinal Cafe over here at Manual. Today, we are going to make a delicious shrimp scampi. You know, if you got a little special occasion, something like that, this is the perfect little meal. It's simple, it's quick, and today it's going to exhibit quite a bit of knife work. And we're not going to make your traditional shrimp scampi, because I like to make mine a shrimp scampi Alfredo. And I know that we've been showing a couple of different ways of doing Alfredo. Today we're just going to reinforce that one more time. So without further ado, after we wash our hands, what's the first thing we do when we come to our cutting board? That's right, we sharpen our knives every single time, okay? And again, just the same number of times on either side. We're going to do our paring knife as well. And here's the thing, this is our serrated knife that we use on various things, but this is not a knife we'll sharpen, okay? This one's always going to just be right here, but that one we actually have to send out to be sharpened. So, without further ado, let's get some knife work going. We're going to start out with these beautiful shrimp. These are 2125s. And 2125 actually refers to the size of the shrimp per pound. So there's 21 to 25 of these shrimp per pound. Okay, these have already been deveined, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to butterfly these just for a little nicer appeal on the plate. And all we do is take it and cut it just like that across the ridge. And if you've got a good sharp knife, it's very easy. And we only have to do about a half a dozen of them. Okay, you see that? Real nice, real easy. We're going to just leave these shrimp right back into this bowl as soon as they're done being cut. So now the question comes, why don't I have gloves on? Well, the reason for that is that this is a pre-cooked product. We're going to cook this, and so we are going to sanitize this food essentially with heat, so we don't need to be wearing our gloves for this part. I am, however, going to very quickly rinse my hands just because I don't want my shrimp to be on my vegetables as I'm cutting. One thing we have to be very careful with shrimp is that it is one of the big 8 allergens. So you have to be very careful when you're serving seafood and shrimp to people, because a lot of people have an allergy to seafood and shellfish like shrimp, and they could go into anaphylactic shock if you unwittingly feed them seafood, okay? So that's really important. All right, we're going to start with our garlic now, and you'll notice that I'm not cutting on the same board that I cut my shrimp. I'm cutting on a second board. And this garlic, really easy to cut up. You just need to get our knife going. Okay? And the thing is, you don't have to absolutely mince garlic. You can leave it in a fairly substantial chunk. I like my garlic cut to about there so that when I have it in the pan, I don't lose it. It doesn't cook away, so to speak. Okay? We're going to go ahead and we're going to pick up our garlic and put it back in our bowl. And I know a lot of people use garlic out of the jar. Do yourself a favor, always use fresh garlic. The flavor profile of anything you cook with it is so much better. Now, the next very cool item we're going to talk about is a shallot. So some chefs will tell you that a shallot is a cross between an onion and garlic. Incorrect. A shallot is actually a part of the allium family, which is the onion family, but it has not as strong a flavor as onion. It doesn't have that same heat that an onion has, and so it's just a little milder, a little smoother flavor. And just like the garlic, we're just going to take and give this a nice little chop. And realistically, that's all we want to chop this, because we're going to use some of this garlic and onion on top of our pasta when we're done as part of the garnish. You know, because I know that we talk about it a lot, but garnish is super, super important. We're going to move to our parsley. We're just going to give that a little chop, no big deal. You know, you're going to be careful that you're always using the claw method so that that knife is nowhere near your fingers or your thumb, because the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to scrape that finger, okay? If you've got your thumb hanging out here, that's what's going to happen to it. You're going to wind up taking the end of that thumb off, and that's not good, okay? So, we have our shallots, our garlic, our onion, our shallots, our garlic, our parsley, our shrimp, all ready to go. The last thing we have to do is cut a few of these tomatoes. And this, again, is where we're going to use our serrated knife, because a serrated knife goes through a tomato so nicely. It's just so easy, and it slices the tomato. Okay? Take that tomato, put it right back in our bowl, and then we're going to cut off just a slab slice of our lemon. Okay? Very often when you're cutting lemon, you'll see a chef or a culinarian cut the lemon in half. Well, the reason that I only take off a slice is because if you look at this, you see no seeds in there, because your seeds are more toward the middle. So this will be very nice when we're actually squeezing it in the pan. We don't have to worry about squeezing it up into our hand. We can squeeze it just like this and get all that delicious juice in there. And then we've got a little surprise for the rest of this lemon. At this point, I'm going to take 1 minute and give a little wipe down and get my burners set up and my plates so that we can go ahead and execute this menu. All right, now that we've taken a second to sanitize and get this area ready for heavy production, here we go. You see we've got nice blue flame on our burners. So we're going to grab our saute pans. We're going to get them on the fire. And as we always talk about, we love butter, okay? The first 3 ingredients in French cooking are butter, butter, and butter. Every day, every time, okay? We're going to start out with this butter in our saute pan. We're going to hit it on both sides at the same time. We're just going to let that butter melt for a second. And while we're letting the butter melt, we're going to measure out some pasta here. Okay? We want a nice portion. We're right about there. We're at about 4 ounces of noodles. Okay? We're going to put that guy right there. You know what? My conscience won't let me do just 4. I'll have to do 5. All right, our butter's starting to melt, looking good. All right, this baby is where we're going to be cooking our shrimp. We're going live with our garlic, our shallots, and half of our parsley. We'll give this onion and shallot a second to start working before we hit it with our parsley, okay? That's looking good. See how nice that's cooking? That's what we want. We just want it to sizzle in the pan a little because we're just going to give it a light caramelization. And wow, I wish you could smell this at home. The smell that's coming off here is so awesome. Okay, now we have got our onions and shallots working right where we want them. We're going to throw in a pinch of parsley here. There we go. Hear that starting to pop? That's exactly what we want. This is looking good here. We're going to bring our heavy cream over and pour that right in here. Okay? And we're going to let that reduce. Okay? That is exactly what we want. We want it bubbling. It's looking delicious. These guys are talking to us. You can hear them sizzling. So, now that we're starting to get a little tiny bit of browning on them, we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw our shrimp in. We're just going to stir these guys around a little, okay? Yeah, listen to that. Now, shrimp cooks very, very quickly, okay? So you do not have to let them cook too much. You can just grab your tongs, turn them over once. You can see that they're starting to get cooked on one side. There we go. And now you can see that our garlic and parsley and shallot is really turned nice and brown. So this is when we're going to take our white wine, okay? There we go. And the thing is, this white wine, oh man, if you could smell this right now, it's so awesome. But this white wine is going to deglaze that pan and make us a little tiny bit of sauce. Now, this cream is reduced, so it's time to get our pasta in here. Now we're going to stir this pasta up. By the way, this is an angel hair pasta. It cooks very, very quickly. Some call it a vermicelli, either or. But now is when we're making our little Alfredo sauce there. We're going to turn these shrimp a little. Look at that. That is awesome. That's what we're looking for. Okay, now we're almost there. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to throw in some little grape tomato. And what that's going to do is add a sweetness and just a little more garnish to our scampi. We're going to go ahead and we're going to kill this heat. And last but not least, we're going to take some of that lemon that we talked about. Give a nice squeeze of fresh lemon in it, okay? Look at that. You can't even believe how nice that fresh lemon smells. Our shallots, our garlic. And now, if you look over at this pasta, you're going to see that we've got the lightest little cream sauce on there. And so we're going to take and we're going to hit it with some of our parm. Okay? We're just going to toss that around a little with that Parmesan. I mean, really, look at how beautiful that is. Such an immediate little Alfredo sauce. Our shrimp is ready. We'll give a little pinch of salt and pepper in there just to make sure that everything tastes amazing. All right, now we have got this delicious pasta ready to go. We're ready to plate. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our tongs and we're going to dig out a nice amount of pasta. We're going to move it over to the plate and we're going to do what they call a haystack in the middle of the plate. All right? Yeah, look at that. That's what we're looking for right there. Now, we're going to take our shrimp and we're going to just set those around this pasta. Then we're going to take these tomatoes And one by one, we're going to put those on here so that they look amazing. You always want to concentrate on keeping your plate clean, okay? And now, if you look in this pan, we have this delicious white wine, butter, lemony, garlic, and shallot mixture with a little parsley. So we're going to take that and we're going to go right on top of that delicious Alfredo with it. Okay? And now, here's the thing. We can't be done yet because every beautiful plate deserves some beautiful garnish. So we're going to take some parm, we're going to take some parsley, and last but not least, we're going to grab our microplane and the rest of that lemon, and we're just going to hit it with a little bit of lemon zest, okay? It doesn't have to be a lot, you just want to freshen it up. And that right there, my friends, is probably one of the most delicious shrimp scampi Alfredos that you're ever going to see in your life. And it was so easy. You know, I hope you do this at home, and I hope you come back to see me. Remember, if there's something you want to see on this show that we're not doing, you can always email me at tbelisle@kcpublicschools.com. Hey, I hope you really enjoyed this. I hope you have a great day.
Good morning, Kansas City. Wonderful day to see you out there. I'm joined by a fantastic person today on this show that we've been featuring here for real-world learning segments in the Kansas City Public School District. My name's Chris Odom. I have the joy of being English coordinator there and also having had a long experience teaching at one particular building, Paseo Academy. Shout out to all the Paseo Pirates. And I'm joined by another Paseo Pirate today, John Lewis. And what year did you graduate from that fine institution, sir?
2006.
Okay, that puts a frame on things for us today as we go back in time a little bit here. We are in 2021 somehow and still kicking, but if you think back to 2006, some of the people listening might not have really been around at that point. John, we're older than we might think we are sometimes, huh? So
yeah, definitely older than we look.
Yeah, right. So we're staying young through the arts. John's a poet, and I'm going to let him tell you basically beyond just being a poet, he's also kind of dipped into the whole Kansas City area and created a scene, I think, and had like lots of attention for things he's put together. So I'll let him tell that story. I've only seen it and admired it from a distance from social media and seeing those things. But long ago, John did attend and go to Paseo Academy and participate in some of our productions there. I was the host of a show called Coffee House. So we had a number of people that, you know, from that show have never stopped performing. And we could tell, like, from the moment they started in that show that they were never going to stop performing. And I was so lucky to be part of that for so long. So, John, give us an update, my man. What's been going on with you since 2006? What paths have you gone down, and how'd you know you should take them, I guess?
Peace and blessings. Basically, since 2006, it's just been a journey of just trying to find myself as an all-around artist. At Paseo, I did a lot of theater. That was my major, so I did a lot of production, stage productions, performing written works of other artists, and it was cool. But once I got into college, I started dabbling in the poetry world, writing on a flip phone. Really how I started writing love poems, and I didn't know nothing about love, but I T9 away, click, click, click on my LG. Life's good. But I started doing that, and then it just kind of like, it flourished, it kind of grew. And I just stuck with it. I ended up basically kind of working under the wing of Theory, or Sam Foster. He kind of took me under his wing, introduced me to performance poetry, and it's just been a journey since then. I started doing it officially in 2010. So I'm going on, this will be the 11th year that I've been doing it. So I'm enjoying it. I think it's fun. I went from being nobody know who I was to, oh yeah, I want to write a poem, and I'm performing every Monday at soul sessions. And I did that for like a year. I write a poem, I memorize it, and I go perform it every Monday. And then I started doing slam poetry, and that's been a really, really dope world. Been on the slam stage a few times, about 5 years, 5 or 6 years that I've been doing it. I've competed on the slam stage. Recently took up being a slam master. So now I'm coaching as well, trying to get my badges for that. I got this one for surfing. That's really about it. I've been just trying to grow that way.
Yep.
But just taking this journey with poetry has been really crazy.
It's really cool. And the fact that when you look back at 11 years there or so, when you're telling it, like, that's a lot of days in there. Like, that's a 365 times 11, folks, is a long journey in poetry, right? And that you're still in it, and it's not over, and that's fantastic.
Still growing at that. That goes to show you, like, I'm still growing as an artist, as far as a writer, as far as a performer. So like, it don't matter what, like, you still can grow, even if you stop, get back into it, and let that journey go. Because everybody got a story, everybody got medicine in them. Yeah, they just need to get it out, put it on paper, so they can give it to people.
That's fantastic.
Or just for themselves.
So I know I've been dabbling by being involved with some of the poets I know in the city just by reading their threads or watching on social media who they're talking to or talking through. And I think and you know Sherry Hall, right? This is a group you're part of quite a bit, right? Is that
I actually want to do this for you real quick.
That's Sherry Hall?
Right there. This is...
Oh my God! Well, now that's pretty awesome and authentic. We'll bring her in on the interview, man. If she's died 100 million times.
Are you able to? But are you able to talk on this interview for a little bit?
I can chat.
No pressure, but say hi. Hi, I'm Chris Odom. I've known about you or of you, maybe met you. I worked at Paseo for forever.
Oh, I can't hear it yet.
Oh my! See if I can see her. Hi, I was just mentioning your name because we were talking about social media. My name's Chris Odom. I'm a teacher in Kansas City Public Schools for years. I think we've met, maybe talked briefly. I've known of you and your poetry, and basically have a lot of connections because I did the coffee house shows there at Paseo for so long. So that's me, Chris Odom. But I was just mentioning to my man here that I think I put myself in a scenario on a social media call, a moment where people were talking about the poet that was selected for the inauguration. And I'm not sure who this fella is that was in your thread, but I couldn't believe how uninformed he was about spoken word. And even just today, I could hear your voice, and just now I can tell you, thank you for what you were saying in that thread. But
well, you're welcome. I was pretty, let's say, not pleased at the behest of using the word angered, irritated, tired, because a lot of the people there are people that judge things, juror things, and really use exclusion to their advantage. So, that whole thread. See, this is what I'm talking about. You start talking on Facebook, and then bam.
It's pretty awesome that you guys are sitting next to each other, and I've been dying to talk and catch up with John. I've been doing this little interview show for the Kansas City Public Schools, where I get a hold of people that I've known a long time ago, and we kind of talk through what's been going on since and what's still pulling your heartstrings, or do you still write poetry? So John was going to do a poem for us here as like a special treat on this show. Would you want to do one for us too?
Sure.
Believe me, I understand that asking for it's your art form. So I would send you bucks if I could, but I have no power in this moment. But John and I talked about it a little bit. I'd even do a piece to make it even.
Okay.
How about if I start? Will that work?
Okay.
And then I'm gonna get out the way, and you guys decide who follows whom at that point.
You going?
All right, Coach.
All right. This is a long time ago.
Yes.
I retraced a pile of papers to find this one. So.
Oh my.
Blast from the past.
It's really not going to be that awesome, but I'm going to give it a shot.
It's work.
Maybe we should just be cool, hide from the world, even school. Just get down together the way we can when we leave behind the rest of this land. Just once I was thinking I had no friends, till I found a beat pattern and I put that to an end. And verse 2 showed up and just came to say, hey, I could be your new friend today. Hey, I could take all those worries away. Hey, I could hear all the things you don't even say. So I never really wondered if he'd be there or not. I could feel his support from the very beat drop. That little metronome, my best pal. I like him more these days than any gal. He's always on beat, that's the way I like it. Like my old sneaks, they still came back to life, kid. And that's that piece.
I wish I would have took your class when I was in school on G.
Oh man, I wish he would have also, but I know we crossed paths eventually. So, all right. Who's next?
I'll go for you, Coach. I'm gonna do a phobia poem. I'm gonna do a poem about phobias. All right. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Only darkness every day. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away. Acrophobia. Fear of heights. Aerophobia is a fear of flying. We all know arachnophobia, a fear of spiders. Astrophobia, a fear of thunder and lightning. Autophobia, a fear of being alone. Or anuptophobia, a fear of staying single, alone as in with oneself, unable to succumb thoughts, escape mind, it's a trap. I seem to find parts of myself in these. It's interesting how some of these fit snug like too small sweater that just so happens to be your favorite. And when we all have small fears, we see huge, like gamophobia, a fear of marriage, genophobia, a fear of women, filiophobia, a fear of love. I find it hard to say I love you. To things that are forever fleeting, I never truly loved a woman other than family. I love beautiful sunlit days and crisp moonlit nights. I've noticed none of my siblings have significant others. How hard it is to trust, and it makes me sad. Makes me howl at the moon on clear sky nights. Believe me, I tried to find it once I searched, and I learned you don't search. It finds you like rock bottom. They saved your life, love. And with that comes trust. I wouldn't say my fear of women is a phobia, but it's still a fear nonetheless. And I be fool, hoping to get bit by that love bug or hit with Cupid's arrow because I'm a hopeless romantic at heart. It's just beating deep under callous flesh Moore's code. I want to love you. Phobias and all. But ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Cacao, that's phobia.
Bam.
Man, that's nice. That's nice. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're getting a treat here. We're getting a twofer. By all means, I love it, right? I know how this works because like when you let somebody go after you, there's a tiny bit of pressure, but Sherry looks like she's ready. So
this is the GOAT.
No. I'll just be saying words. Okay.
We all know. Well, those who don't know, this is the great Sherry Hall, and I don't think I've ever seen you in person, so this will be a treat for me.
Deer don't get stuck in headlights because they're being standoffish or standing their ground or something. They literally are in a state of shock and don't see what's going on. Their eyes aren't really able to process red and orange, which gives them both partial blindness and awesome night vision in the darkness. Their pupils dilate, spanning the entirety of their eye, allowing them to take in all the soft light they can, making them able to run and frolic all night long. But when those headlights come, their fully dilated pupils aren't really able to accept more light, so they stand there, frozen, off until it's too late. Of course, the average onlooker doesn't know this, looking at this sacred creature with no patience, like, move, stupid deer, move. But no, they don't. Become a suddenly stuck static statue fixture getting hit, and the average onlooker looks a combo pity and piss, like, how stupid can you be to just lay there and take the blow? But the deer wasn't expecting this, couldn't see it coming. Happy, dancing, vixen, dashing through the twilight twinkle, dashing before the dawn. Pupils dilated, wide open, had me wide open, running, trying to take in all of him that I could, trying to see everything, couldn't even see anything, couldn't see the forest beyond the trees. I wasn't being standoffish or nothing. Just blindly in love. Couldn't see the red flags while frolicking through his meadows, where suddenly light escalated quickly. He struck and I was stuck trying to figure out what is going on here. When presented with light, I didn't know quite how to react. When presented with illuminated truth, I would much rather just stay in the darkness, retreat to the darkness, than to be having a tarnished image of him burned into my retinas. His truth traveled at the speed of anger, no longer kindred spirit animal, but maniacal machine, crashing dome, bashing body, careening into everything I had built up inside myself, reckless. You would think he would at least push his brakes or swerve to avoid contact. It was as if I wasn't even a living creature in his malevolence. He just kept coming and coming and coming. As I lay here at this fork in the road, unable to process state or gold, wondering if I have a black eye, bloody mouth, bleed internal, fractured body and spirit split, looking down at my battered self, seeing the sunken place I allowed myself to sink into. Thinking how stupid could it be that you just lay there and allow him to blow and blow and blow, feeling a combo pity and piss, thinking, move, stupid dear. Sweet, sacred self, girl, get out. Move. That's that piece. I completely said half the lines backwards.
Hey.
I wasn't even ready to go. But look, if you don't finish, you don't win. So you keep going till you finish. Don't matter if you mess up.
Love it. No, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for that piece.
Thank you.
So really, what we've explored sometimes on this show for young people who are watching are ways that they can find paths in their minds that they may not have seen exemplified for them through our modern school system, where there might be, very small glimpse into what people do after they leave our school system. And one of the goals that I've had in doing these interviews is it's somewhat of harvest. And so you never know exactly what, I'm so fortunate and lucky to have harvested 2 amazing poems today for other people to get to hear, and 2 pretty amazing people here to be able to maybe share with us, this is what you do, right? So you've found a way to take what you love and turn it into your work. Can either one of you guys explain what you do and how that worked out for you so other people might see it can?
I completely switched over from theater to being a performance poet, doing poetry, doing slams. I coach now. So it's different outlets, different ways that you can get into it. I found mentors when I first started because it was something that I did not know anything about.
Yeah, and you said Samuel Foster, who happened to be one of the people I worked with a lot, right, in the early days when I first started at Paseo. And he's actually done this interview with me also. I don't know if you know that, but...
Yeah, he mentioned it. He's like, you need to do it. He's like, you got to do it over his shoulder and got this interview.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. It's all coming together, right? So what about Sherry? You want to jump into that question?
So I am the executive director of the Poetry for Personal Power. We do mental health, arts, entrepreneurship, and we're an advocacy organization. So a lot of times my poetry translates into themes of resilience. There's a lot of times that people do what I call trauma poetry or whatnot. And for me, when I'm telling the story, it is to be celebrated because I survived, or maybe I'm personifying someone else who survived. And that's what we do here at Poetry for Personal Power. We do that with artists. We also do that with advocates who help people with non-clinical behavioral health. So poetry for me, one, I'm a writer. I write all different kinds of things. I research. So poetry is not just kind of the pigeonhole that I'm burrowed into. Outside of that, I'm a publisher because I feel strongly about people owning their own narratives. For so long, especially for BIPOC peoples, we have had to sell our narratives to people outside of our own communities, and they are now owned by all these other people, changed, finagled, however they want to do it. Right. It's important that we own and preserve our history and are able to tell our own stories. So if there's anything that I would tell somebody listening to this right now, history just happened a second ago, and a second before that, and a second before that, and the sentence that I just said is history now. So when you write and tell your own narrative, you're preserving that not just for you, but for the people after you. So don't just look at history as something that happened 40, 50, 60 years ago. You are currently history. You are making history right now. So preserve those stories. Like, preserve that. If you're a writer and you are so intended, don't think that what you say isn't important.
Sure.
And if you feel like you don't have anything to say, keep living.
Yeah, it'll come. There's going to be plenty to talk about in this world. My
goodness. I will piggyback off that if I can.
Yes.
I've learned since I've been doing this, it doesn't matter what the topic is. You could write about the same topic. 10 people can write about the same topic, but you're going to get 10 different views. Mm-hmm. So no matter what, even if you think you hearing it over and over and over and over again, just write it, because your perception is different from another person's perception. And you could change somebody's views on something or save somebody's life because they're going through something that you're going through right now and don't know how to deal with it. But you know how to deal with it because you wrote about it. So if you're a writer, write.
Yeah. Sure.
Just
your voice
write.
is important.
Even if it's just BS, pardon my French, just write. Just get it out. You got to get it out.
It's good public television French there. Appreciate it. But let's also point out to the audience in this amazing moment that just has really organically happened. We did not plan this. I did not know John was sitting next to Sherry at all. So what an amazing way to start the day for some people who maybe just happened into this like I did. So if you're liking this show and you'd like to be part of this experience, please reach out to me. My name is Chris Odom. I work for the Kansas City Public Schools. I spent most of my time there in the classroom, and now I'm the English coordinator. And I would like to talk to you perhaps about your experience as a student and what you're doing these days. Again, so that those experiences live and breathe in front of our current students who are currently weighing all of their options for all of the chances they will take in life. So, John and Sherry, Thank you so much for this really impromptu, awesome moment in my day. I'm telling you, I shopped through a whole bunch of poems today, and the power of performance means I look back through my little tiny portfolio that's really pretty huge. But I found these in the basement. So I was like, I don't even know what year I wrote this, right?
But when you read that, doesn't it feel like a foreigner to you? Like, I wrote this. Like, oh, this is an old friend. Like, okay, well, I'm going to minister to myself right now. This is great. I needed this.
Facts. I do it all the time.
I always been lost in the beat, and that there's something to do there. Like, stay lost in the beat sometimes. Like, if you love being lost in the beat, stay in there some. You know, make a plan for it. Get a beat making machine. You know, like, get in it. And so I've been doing music a little bit more, and it's fun to listen to myself a long time ago through my old poetry, telling me to, you know. So I respect you guys. I'm on my artist path. When we're done with COVID, I'm gonna invite you. We're gonna have some reunion with the band I'm in. I'm the lead singer too, and been working like this whole. Hey, I'm not bragging, but I wouldn't let these other two dudes up there very, very long. They don't know the hip hop might be quite enough. So I don't know if they could be on the mic. They can make some noise and stuff, respect due to them. But I want whoever's on the mic to really know what they're dabbling in, right? So
absolutely.
Thank you.
Education is everything. Know the history. Yeah.
It's for real. Thank you so much for this. John, I will let you know when this airs. Sherry, I will let you know when this airs. And I'll look back on it and think it was really fun. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Odom, and thank you to all the other instructors today. They all will be back next Friday with our next episode of Real World Learning. KCPS Homeroom will be back on Monday at 8 a.m. right here on 38th The Spot with class for our pre-K and kindergarten students. Thank you all for joining us this week. Have a great day, and remember, continue learning throughout the day.
I chose manual because it's challenging and fun, and it can help me with college.
I chose manual because I wanted to get a jump start in my career with culinary arts.
I chose manual to acquire skills I'd use in real life.
I chose manual because I want to be an ER doctor, and being an EMT is my first step.
Kickstart your future today at Manual Career and Technical Center. Manual is open for all 11th and 12th grade students in both Kansas and Missouri. Learn more today at enrollkc.org/manual or call 816-418-5200.
The desire to create lives within each of us. From Grammy-winning producers and musicians, to NBA stars, to Navy admirals and Medal of Honor recipients, to internationally renowned artists, and beloved local muralists, Paseo graduates have been creating their own success, their own history, their own legacy since 1926. Now it's your time. Create your future at Paseo Academy of Fine and Performing Arts. Learn more at enrollkc.org/Paseo.
Hello, we're happy to have you visit Carver. We are a dual language school where our students become truly bilingual and biliterate.
Welcome to Carver Dual Language.
primer grado en CARVER. Welcome to first grade in CARVER. In kindergarten and first grade, all students learn to read and write in Spanish.
Welcome to 4th grade at CARVER. In 4th grade, our students have the opportunity to join our robotics team. Our students work together on a community project and learn to code a robot's movements.
By 6th grade, CARVER students are truly bilingual and biliterate. Students can fluently speak, read, and write in both Spanish and English. CARVER students move on to much success in middle school, high school, and beyond.
We celebrate Hispanic heritage throughout the year at CARVER Dual Language. Each year, students develop a plan to make goods to develop and to sell at our Mercado. This is our annual fall market that classes have booths that students come together and sell their items that they've created. Staff, community members, family, parents, grandparents, all can come together, buy the goods, and celebrate Hispanic heritage together.
In CARVER, we have an involved PTA where parents and families can be part of our school community.
Thank you for joining us on this tour. If you would like to schedule a personal tour or learn more about our school, please call 816-418-4925.
The desire to create lives within each of us. From Grammy-winning producers and musicians, to NBA stars, to Navy admirals and Medal of Honor recipients, to internationally renowned artists and beloved local muralists, Paseo graduates have been creating their own success, their own history, their own legacy since 1926. Now it's your time. Create your future at Paseo Academy of Fine and Performing Arts. Learn more at enrollkc.org/Paseo.